What is the New World Order?
The New World Order essentially is an agenda. It's a plan to unite the world into one, whether it be one world government, one world cash system, one world religion. It's all about uniting everything into one. The term itself, New World Order, may be a little misleading because this agenda has been going on for thousands and thousands of years through the various secret societies, through the bloodlines, handed on down. So really, there's nothing new about it. I mean, President Bush made the term popular in the early 90s when he gave a speech saying that we need to move towards a New World Order.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
In fact, one of those speeches he gave was on September 11th, 1991, 10 years to the day that we would see the beginning of a real New World Order.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order.
Why is it that seems to be so little people who have woken up to what's going on?
Well, we're in a day and age where the conditioning is thick. I mean, the elite, when they're trying to set up this system that they're trying to do, they learned long ago that you cannot just take it by brute force. I mean, when Hitler tried to do it, just take it by brute force, it doesn't work. The people will always prevail. So they've learned their lesson, and they realize that now you have to do it through stealth, through things like propaganda and controlling the media and the education system, and basically turn it around so that the people are in complete and total acquiescence, that they will literally beg for their own enslavement practically. So most people aren't aware because of what they've learned from the media and what they learned in school. And it's amazing how quick information spreads these days. So that's probably why people have such a hard time waking up sometimes, because the conditioning runs deep. The problem is, most of the main problem is nowadays, I mean, you have a family. I mean, both parents have to work just to scrape by. People don't have time to look into these things. So, and it's often a survival mechanism where people tend to be happy and comfortable in their own little comfort bubble, and to step outside of that and to have somebody suggest to you that the way things are run is not necessarily the way you think they are, it makes people uncomfortable, because now you have to admit that maybe you're wrong. You have to admit that maybe things aren't the way you thought they were. So really what people need to do is swallow their pride and seek truth honestly and unbiasedly. This agenda literally has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. It's an ancient agenda, and again, the agenda itself is to unite everything into one, whether it be the government, the economics of the world, the economies, the religions. All of these different facets need to be united together as one. I mean, you can just look at the history of the world, and every civilization that has ever existed has been involved with the same kind of thing. You look at the Babylonians, the Egyptians, Alexander the Great, the Romans. All of these people have wanted to rule the rest of everybody else with an iron fist and control and dominate the world. And it's really no different in our society and day and age. So yeah, it's been happening for a long, long time through the bloodlines. Again, a lot of this hidden knowledge that these people gain, they hoard it. for themselves. And they pass it on through their children in order to use certain information to enslave the population. A good example is around 6,000 to 7,000 years ago in Egypt, when the Egyptian leaders would have knowledge of the eclipse and the sun cycles. The knowledge had been handed down to them from their ancestors, and they didn't know why an eclipse would happen or how, but they knew when. So they would say, okay, everyone, you have to worship me as your divine leader and your God. Well, I don't want to do that. Who are you? You're just another guy. Why should I worship you? And then he would say, okay, well, if you don't want to bow down to me, then tomorrow I'll get my God to eat the sun and spit it back out. So the next day when the eclipse would happen, everyone would just marvel and say, oh my God, this guy must be our divine leader. The fact is, he's just like you or me. All he did, he was smart enough to use fear as a tactic in order to trick the people into total submission. And it's no different with today. Only today, like I said, it's done through stealth. Our current world leaders don't use the sun as fear anymore. They use terrorism, or the idea of terrorists are going to get you. And they use that in order to get the people to submit and give over their power to the state.
And how would they go about doing that in this day and age, by using terrorism?
Well, they believe that it's a process that they've been using for thousands of years. It's basically order out of chaos. And the idea that death breeds life. It's just like the Egyptian leaders, once they got into power, well, what's the first thing we want to do? Well, we want to sacrifice your children to appease the gods, you know. It's order out of chaos. They believe if you can cause enough pain and wars and suffering, then out of the ashes of that will emerge their solution to this problem that they created, which is their solution would be oneness, one world, everything. That's why you see the symbolism of the phoenix a lot in their symbols, because it's the fictional bird that rises from the ashes. So that symbol is used a lot because it shows their mind manipulation technique of order out of chaos, where you create the problem.
We're in the midst of a serious financial crisis.
You get the reaction.
And we are not, as a nation, going to be able to just keep on printing money. So at some point, we're also going to have to make some long-term decisions.
Then you offer your solution to the problem that you created.
I believe that there is an opportunity now, with the G20 having been called, for the first time, for us to put together a global steering committee of all of the great powers of the world. If I was asked what is the single most important thing that can be done to get us out of this mess, it is going to be to recognize now that we are one common humanity, divided perhaps into economic entities called countries. The time has come for us to work together.
It's also known as the Hegelian dialectic, where you set up the thesis, you also set up the antithesis, so that you can offer your synthesis to the very problem and opposition that you created in the first place. So they've been using this techniques, for thousands of years, and now in this day and age, it's all about terrorism. You know, that's the way to trick the people into total submission. In this day and age, certainly to get to the point of being prime minister or president, they take people who have gone through their respective secret societies and have been indoctrinated into the idea that this is a good thing. Again, a lot of the elite that are trying to pull this stuff off, they don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. They think they're actually doing a good thing. You know, it's like Hitler when he murdered all the Jewish people. I mean, he was a eugenicist. I think he truly thought he was doing a good thing for the future of mankind. So it's the same with today. These guys actually believe that this is for the better. So I think only at the really highest top of the peak of the pyramid, where you have individuals who are not necessarily in the public eye, and people we've never even necessarily seen before, who are really the evil ones pulling the strings. Everyone else is kind of unwitting dupes who get sucked in, to the all-boys club. You become a member of the elite, and it's exciting. You get power and fame and money, and So it's attractive to a lot of them, but a lot of them don't realize their contribution to the New World Order agenda.